For the fifth and final part of this tutorial, we're going to make it so that we have multiple hotkeys that change the colors of individual lights through a cycle. So to do this, first thing we need to do is make sure we have a variable for each light. So this variable here, color1, is the color variable for the first light in my home. Same with the second for the color 2 for the second and color 3 for the third. They're all set to 1 currently, but it's not important what number they're set to. These numbers, of course, like before, relate to these numbers here, which in turn will set the color of the light. We're going to be using this light color function again, but we need to modify it so that it can take in another variable, which we'll add now, and this variable will be called light, and that's the number of light that we want to change. So for the lamp would be number 3. For my one of my lights, it's number one, sorry, and the other one is number 2. So that light number will be passed into this function. We then need to access it in here. So we are no longer changing the group, so we remove the groups from this part here. We're going to put in lights because we're accessing a light, and to make it universal we have to put in this here, period, light, period, and then slash state. What this does here is this uses the number that's passed in through this variable and puts it into here. So for example, make sure you have a forward slash there. For example, if we passed in light 1, which we'll do in a second, it will send in the 1 into here, and this will be changed to a 1, so it will, the URL will read bridge API username lights/1/state, and then this body text will be sent to it. To pass in the light number, we need to modify this slightly. We need to put in the number of the light that this function is passing. So as you can see here, we're passing in the number 3, so this will change the number for the number 3. Now it's as simple as copying this, pasting it, changing the hotkey, changing the numbers here to whichever number light it is. Make sure they're all the same. Color 2, color 2, color 2. And then this to the number of the light. And it will work. And it'll work for as many lights as you need to put into the equation, into the script. We don't need to change this because this is passed in through here. Yeah, and this should work for all the different lights you need, all the different lights that you have in your home. Simply adding numbers, adding in a variable at the top, and then a hotkey for the given key, and changing this function up here. So now I'm going to show you how to add this to your startup folder so that this script runs automatically every time you turn on your computer. So first thing we have to do is right click it and compile. You'll wait a second as it compiles, and then it'll drop an executable file onto your desktop or wherever the location is of this file. We then need to put this file in our startup, and so to do that we open up our run simply by typing run into the Windows menu, and then shell startup, so that's shell colon startup, hitting OK, and that'll open this folder here, which is your startup folder, and then you can simply drag, drop, and exit, and that script will now start every time you start your computer.